Oh, yeah, Jack Lee, had the store. And then he had moved to the corner there before that because Al was selling the building. And, but he had the dry cleaners, I guess, yeah. And they were like these racks and these cabinets that were out. And he had all kinds of stuff in there. And, so we were there like a couple of weeks. I couldn't set up anything because all his stuff was there.
Yeah.
So finally I said, look, Jack, if you don't move this stuff by Monday, everything is going to go behind here and it's going to be boarded up and you can't get it till I leave. The end of summer. Probably 50 boxes of shoes and,
Yeah,
all
you
kinds
name
of
it.
stuff. They were completely boarded up. He couldn't get them. At least once a week he would come in and say, I really need it. I said, I'm sorry, you can't get in there. I mean, it was like, trimmed off and it couldn't be opened up. God.
Well, those are the days. I remember
I
old
know.
Jack Lee.
And he was hardly ever there. You have this sign, "Gone Fishing,"
Yeah.
on the door.
What year was that, Hilda?
Was it 65?
1965?
65, 66.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was,
That's when you first
Yeah,
settled here.
yeah. Although we're here in the summer.
Yeah. But you came here earlier.
Did we come here the
To
year
visit.
before to this art fair? I think maybe. They ran this art fair and we didn't know where it was. And Denise and I both came up and really liked it.
so you came up from Milwaukee?
Yeah.
So you hop in the van and all of a sudden you brought some of your artware and
Yeah.
she brought her paintings. And what did you bring with you up here at that?
Pottery, I did ceramics.
You were doing the pottery thing then? How were the sales at that type of...
Well, we did all right. I don't recall exactly, but I think it was okay. Yeah, it was okay.
I remember that my mother, how excited Marie was
Oh, yeah.
when you guys had come up, and she loved that artsy-fartsy type of thing.
Yeah. Well,
So-
she was such an artist too, I mean, she painted and she was very good.
We, like the three of you and probably some others, were very instrumental in that art fair that's been going on for almost 40 some years now, isn't
Well,
it?
that's not the same art fair. See, this art fair that's on now, that was on, it's called the Tri-State Arts and Crafts Fair, and it's pretty open. I mean, there's a lot of amateur stuff. I mean, you can take the professionals into a quarter and the rest of them are,
It's amateurs.
But the one that I put together, the Gateway Art Festival, was juried, and unless that they were really up to snuff with their work, they didn't get in. I didn't care who they were,
Oh, okay.
So it was pretty heavily juried. But now it's pretty open. I mean, it's, a lot of stuff that's there,
The
candles.
Gateway Art Fair, then, that's the one that you
Gateway
put...
Art Festival, yeah.
Who'd you work with
And
on
we
that
had
one?
prizes. In fact, I just saw a sheet that the entry and everything. Well, let's see. I did actually most of the stuff myself. Denise helped a little here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. Oh, Neil Meyer.
O'Neill.
That's about it.
What year
And,
was
excuse me.
What year was that anyway? Was that in the early 70s or?
It was before late 65, 66, I think.
Uh-huh. I know that was kind of like, to me, I was a pretty young kid then. I thought that was pretty interesting because Bayfield never had anything like that
Yeah,
before.
see, like there was Ed Schoenberger, a lot of people who did really original stuff,
Mm-hmm.
And then we always had demonstration, like Ed I know demonstrated, and a couple sculptors off and on, somebody.
Was Bob Eccles there then too, or?
Yeah, Bob kind of, did something here and there, but he didn't like the fact that there was a lot of pottery competition,
Oh,
So,
I can imagine.
and we had a lot of potters.
Yeah.
Um,
How many years did that Gateway Art Festival go then? Did you just do it 1 year or?
No. I got a folder somewhere. I just came upon it the other day. Probably at least 10 years.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
it was a big deal, and then you guys had a kind of organized breakfast. Or,
Yeah.
it got more than to be an art fair. It got to be
Oh,
an everything,
I know.
a fair.
Right, yeah. And they had demonstrations, and we had a band. Didn't we have a band sometimes?
Yeah, could have been.
If they, the only thing is people were set up in the pavilion. Oh, I'll never forget the first year there was only one light bulb in the whole place. and going upstairs, all that wiring. I mean, it was really, you went there at risk of being electrocuted,
Everybody were already in and they could die.
Oh, God, I mean, it was like, no light. Well, not too many years ago when, on this fair, the tri-state, my sister was helping. And then a nun from Superior Summer signed up. And she expected, these guys to put up her stands and do this and that. And my sister said, Sister, here's a hammer, hardware store is down the street, and, this is your spot. They were all, we had to measure them off and everything, It was always a lot of work, and people who helped you whenever you need them, they weren't around. It's in the middle of the summer, and everybody's doing something. In fact, I'm trying to think, there were like 6 of them. They were supposed to be helping to set up Friday night, and they were going to the island for dinner. I said, well, that's nice. Why didn't you go last night,
Yeah.
But anyway, just this one light bulb. Oh, and then I smashed my hand in the, those things that pushed out. This one was stuck, and it was really hard, and so I kept pounding on it, and pounded it out, and it just like bent my hand way back, and I thought I broke my hand. So somebody called the hospital, and the doctor there happened to be from Yugoslavia, and he didn't, I had to sit there for a while before he came there. When I found out where he was from, I really rolled him out. I said, "You're letting your countrymen die here while you're visiting or something."
Oh.
Oh, God.
How many exhibits would you have, like?
I just did ceramics,
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean, when you had.
Oh, gosh, like 30, 40, quite a few.
Yeah.
Quite a few, and there were a lot of them we couldn't take because we didn't have room, Because we had to work on the basis that they would be in the pavilion if it rained.
So yeah. So
it wasn't just outside.
if you had a chance, you were outside in the park.
Right.
But then if it rained, you always could go into the building.
Right. Yeah,
to
so we
finish
had
it
to
off.
have that, provision. Which, helped, because a couple times, a few times it rained,
Why do I have it in my head that I remember you guys having to cater to like breakfast or something for them? Was that?
But
Should I
we
get that
didn't
notion
have
out
to.
of there? Or?
Yeah, I think, let's see now. Oh, we always had a fish boil, too, on Friday night.
Oh yeah.
Somebody did a fish boil. And we had breakfast. I think we just ordered a bunch of bread and rolls and stuff, and no big deal.
Yeah. Okay.
And we just had it set up in the pavilion,
Okay.
So we always had coffee and stuff,
How long would that art fair run then? 2, 3 days.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
And then they were on their way.
Yeah.
Would you-
So, Hilda, what was it about Bayfield that made you feel it was a place for an artist and an arts community?
Well, gosh, it's just so beautiful, and it's all open. There isn't much junk around, And there were, and then also like when they started putting all these signs and stuff, well, Hilda Nelson really was a lot of help in that to stop, to have a good sign ordinance, because everybody would have a sign bigger than the next guy, And yeah, I mean that was pretty tough to get that through,
Because this was before Bayfield was really a tourist town, right?
Yeah, well, pretty much. Yeah, I would say.
So at the beginning of it.
Just the
Yeah.
beginning of the tourism.
Yeah, I mean people would come up from Minneapolis and
Yeah.
places like that.
I remember when the Gaylord Nelson was instrumental in getting the grant
Yes. Yeah.
for the marina
Project
being
for
built.
Bayfield.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
marina being built, and when that happened,
Yeah.
it kind of like brought in a different group of people.
Well, what really helped is that I have a folder with a bunch of correspondence with him. I think I still have it. But, well, he actually also backed this, but I just didn't have the energy to go through with it, to do like an art colony thing for the summer on, let's see, which island? Gosh, I forget which island it was. But I just couldn't do it. It was just too much.
Too much going on. You were
Yeah.
raising a family too, weren't
Yeah, it was just too much, And, Michigan Island.
Okay.
Before, I mean, we could have leased it from the government for that, but it was just too much work.
Yes.
It would have been a nice thing,
you? It would have been fun, you
because
think.
there's some around. There's one in Michigan, I think.
So your first trips to Bayfield then were to come up here and just participate in an art
Yeah.
fair, and you brought your pottery, and
Yeah.
Hilda brought her paintings, and and then
Denise
Denise
brought
brought her paintings,
Yeah.
and back you went. And when did you finally decide you wanted to come to Bayfield permanently?
Oh gosh. Gosh. Trying to think of what year that was.
I remember your kids were in school here
Um,
in the 60s, 68,
Probably.
somewhere's in there?
yeah, they probably started here, but then we went back.
Yeah.
We went back to Milwaukee. Let's see. Um, I moved up permanently, I think, in the late 60s.
Yeah. Seems like Johnson's store was still, in 1968, was still Johnson's. And then
Yeah, but I was across the street, you know, I was in the
yeah, in the old Grant building
right.
there.
Which building were you in?
And now,
No, then.
then the one that Mary has the jewelry store. You know, kitty corner across the street on 2nd Street.
From you, kitty corner from
Yeah.
Xanadu.
It's
right.
the drugstore.
Drugstore's on the corner and then
On the
down.
corner, and there, and I was next door.
That's
and it was
right.
a big rooming house. It was built in like 1860. or
Yeah, it was
something.
the old
Yeah,
Grant home.
it was, and we, you know, we did a lot of the rooms and everything. Didn't
I
we?
remember that when I first
Yeah.
came up here. You had Xanadu going, but you also had that shop too.
Oh, okay, then that was still open. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell me how you pronounce, every
Xanadu.
time I say the word L'Atelier.
L'Atelier.
Yeah, there's a
L'Atelier.
correct pronunciation.
L'Atelier.
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 I would
Which
never
means
get-
in French.
A studio.
Yeah.
But see, my father was a fashion designer, and he called his store L'Atelier.
Oh, he
So I
did.
just, yeah.
So you brought
It's
that.
used a lot, you know, and designers and, you know,
Your father was a fashion designer?
yeah.
In what community?
Well, we lived in Munich before in Yugoslavia,
Uh-huh.
in Zagreb.
And you were born in Yugoslavia. Okay.
He actually designed how we got to go to Germany. He designed the German Olympic team ski pants. Okay, he invented the system in the 30s. And it was like a graph system where you have the two walls. And with a camera, he could figure out the measurements. And he could design something, say for you, if you stood there and had these photos taken.
Okay.
And then he would have the patterns cut. And he did this for the German Olympic team without them ever trying anything on. And they won in 39, 38, 39.
Yeah.
And then they were so impressed that they talked him into moving to Germany. So he moved to Munich.
How old were you then when you moved to Munich?
Uh,
I mean, were you
like
just
8,
you were a girl?
yeah,
Yeah.
went to school there.
So your father is Yugoslav.
Oh, and then somebody,
Oh.
okay, now this was in the late 30s, and somebody in 1968, I happen to, I get the New York Times here and there, I'm just getting it again all the time. But anyway, somebody in New York patented it in 1968, that same system,
Oh, is that right?
yeah, so,
You lost out there. You could have been a part of a fortune.
yeah. Well, that was interesting.
Were your parents fairly well-to-do when in Europe?
Yeah, I think my father did pretty well. Did a lot of, shows, fashion shows, and
Now,
designers.
where in Yugoslavia were you born?
Zemun.
See that?
Which is Zemun, which is like Duluth and Superior. Belgrade and Zemun is right next door.
All right.
Same on the same river, Sava River.
And that's in the old Yugoslavia
Yeah.
before was Tito then?
No.
That was
Tito came later.
that
the
was
king,
before Tito.
King Peter. King Peter II. It was King Alexander and then King Peter. Yeah,
Were your parents both native Yugoslav?
yeah.
And their parents were too? And your grandfather, what did he do for a living?
He had a farm machinery business, farm equipment. They sold a big store, huge store.
He had a building and he sold
Yeah, they had, I mean, we used to play on tractors and stuff,
Oh, I
and,
see.
these sewing machines, and, you used to sit in this basket, and you get, we weren't allowed to do that, but we did it anyway,
Yeah, that'd be you and your sister.
yeah.
You
And
don't
then
have
we
any
had
brothers,
cousins.
or
No, just cousins.
yeah, just cousins.
Yeah, that was fun going there.
What's your sister's name again?
Ivanka.
Ivanka. Okay. She comes. She stayed in the States now, or
Oh yeah, she lives in Rice Lake, that's not that far.
Hilda? Do you go back to Yugoslavia once in a while just to take a
Last
peek?
time I was there, gosh, let's see. We took a tour all the way down, to Kosovo and all over the place. And, the Adriatic, I was on the Adriatic a number of times, even going across from Italy,
Mm-hmm.
Like you can actually take the cheapest way to go there is to fly to Venice. Now they have a really great little airport. And then take the train from Venice to Trieste,
Mm-hmm.
and then take the boat down. The Adriatic, I mean, there are like 600 islands there. It's beautiful,
Yeah, I bet it is.
really beautiful.
Yeah.
And you can take the night boat or the day boat. I mean, in fact, the last time we were there, Chris rented this car in Frankfurt. We flew into Frankfurt and drove, and it's just such a miserable thing,
Yeah.
because the mass transport is so good. And then we ended up in Dubrovnik, and we stayed there a couple weeks, and then decided to take the boat back, and the car went on the boat. And two of us with dinner and a cabin on the boat for less money than the car was on the boat. I said, that's it. No more renting cars in Europe. I never rent a car after that. Just doesn't make any sense. It's too expensive. Because you can go for now like 3-4 euros, you can go like 30-40 miles, It's so inexpensive and good. It's good public transportation. They're on time, they're fast, they're clean,
Would you recommend it in the United States?
Well, yeah, gee, I mean, it would save so much instead of having everybody driving a car,
Sure. What was it like being a little girl in Yugoslavia in those days? Just prior to the war, there was a lot of tension in Serbia, in those areas and things like that. Tell us a little bit about being a young girl over in Zemun as you're starting to grow
Well,
up.
we actually lived in Zagreb then.
Okay.
We lived in Zemun first, and then we lived in Zagreb, which is a pretty good-sized city. Didn't find it that different,
What did you do for fun when you were a kid? And
There were a lot of nice parks, with equipment to play in, and went swimming a lot.
where would you swim? Like in the rivers there, or is there lakes there?
Pools mostly, in the city,
Oh, inner city pools.
Oh, well, river too, but mostly pools. But otherwise, then my dad would usually spend most of the summers on the Adriatic, like around Dubrovnik somewhere.
Well, that's kind of the playground over there, the
Oh
Adriatic.
yeah,
right?
it's beautiful, just beautiful.
Hmm.
I wouldn't mind going back to Montenegro. That's pretty too. They have this Bay of Kotor. It's really nice.
Tell me about the schools over there that you went to as a kid.
Well, most of them I went to in Germany,
Okay. Did you go to Catholic schools or?
Went to Catholic school for a time. I think went to an Orthodox school for a time, but that would have been in Yugoslavia.
Mm-hmm.
Germany, just public school,
Well, that must have been a real change going from Yugoslavia. Now you're going to Germany, you don't speak the language.
Oh, we did speak German.
You did speak German, so that was an advantage.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You usually learn to speak 4 languages.
Yeah, that's the thing in Europe.
Yeah.
How many languages can you speak, Hilda?
Oh gosh, really English.
What's that?
Well, I mean, English. I mean, I understand a lot of them, and it takes me too long to think.
Yeah.
Let's see now, what is that called? But I don't know. I don't even know if I would. understand that much Serbian. If somebody talked real fast, I'd have a hard time. Because they have the Cyrillic alphabet too, so it's a different alphabet. You know, like the Russian alphabet.
Okay.
And I would have a hard time, you know. Because, I mean, I haven't heard it or
You don't do
spoken
it
it for
every
so
day.
long. Yeah. Should probably get some books.
When you were in your prime, how many languages could you speak? Could you speak German and Yugoslav and Serb and Greek and all those type of
Oh,
things?
no, not Greek.
Yeah.
French?
No. Well, I mean, had it in school, but not speak, you know.
Yeah.
You
Just
understood it.
Grammar or something, you know.
Yeah.
But German for sure, because we lived in Munich, you know, for 8 years.
What kind of classes did you take in high school then in Germany?
Oh, everything, you know.
Were they good schools?
Oh, yeah.
Strict?
Yeah. We went to this Catholic school for a while, and then high school.
Were you allowed to wear short skirts in those classes or anything like that?
Yeah, they were uniforms.
Uniforms.
Yeah.
What year would you have graduated from high school then?
1948.
48, okay.
And I mean, you know, we had air raids a lot, you know, I mean, we were being bombed day and night, you know,
Where were you living at that point in time?
in Munich.
In Munich. So tell us a little bit about that experience with the air raids.
Oh, God, that was horrible. At night, it was the Brits bombed at night, the Americans during the day. And, you know, you don't know, I mean, they would have like a pre-alarm, you know, and then you're supposed, meaning that they were somewhere in the vicinity, but they weren't sure where they were going to go, you know.
Yeah.
Bomb. So then if you could, to get home, you know, wherever you were, fine, you know, but you couldn't always do that. And this one time we were stuck in this theater that happened to be close by, you know, when they started bombing, so we went into their bunker. Most places had bunkers below, reinforced, you know. But that wasn't always, you know, the answer, because those big blocks would come in and kill more people than the bombs sometimes, you know.
Sure.
Just a concussion. And where we really lucked out was we had this special spot, you know, I mean, where you live, you kind of pick where you think you're the safest, you know. And this was a corner in a narrow, well, it's a big room, and they had these domed ceilings, like, you know.
Okay.
And then this was a little room, maybe the size of that, and there was a bench against the wall, and we always sat in that corner. But we didn't hear the alarm. Sometimes, you know, they came so fast that by the time that we heard anything, they were already bombing. So we ran downstairs, and somebody was in our spot, and those people got killed, you know. So if we would have been down there, we would have been killed. So, you know, because we were always there. Yeah.
Must have been a horrible
Oh,
experience.
yeah.
Well,
God.
it's amazing you survived, Hilda.
Yeah,
And your
I know.
family. Your whole family survived?
yeah.
And your father was a tailor, right? Fashion designer. And I know that he did something with the uniforms, the German uniforms. Is that right?
I don't know.
So he was making a living at this time, even during the war?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he had like a store, you know, like a studio.
Somehow he could keep that open during the war.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't have to go in the army or anything because he was handicapped,
Uh-huh.
you know.
Hilda, what was the mood of the people in Munich when the war ended? How was there bitterness? Was there relief? What was the feeling as you would kind of figure out how they felt?
Well, probably both. They didn't like being occupied, you know.
Yeah.
If we were in the American sector, they had, you know, American sector and British sector. But it was just change, you know.
They just decided to move on and
Yeah, nothing they could do, you know.
So you were a teenager then at the time?
Well, let's see.
Huh?
Yeah.
14, 15 years old when the war started, or
let's
towards the end of the war there.
let me see, well, the war started in 39. We moved there just before that.
So you're there in 30.
36. We moved there because he had his job to work with this Olympics committee, designing, various things. And, well, we kind of liked it. I mean, I liked Munich. It's a nice city. Well, then we just moved there, and the war just kind of kept escalating.
What did your mom do there? She just took care of the kids, or did she have work and?
Yeah, just took care of the apartment.
Or did you live in tenant buildings, or did you own a home there?
No, but it's a big city. It's all big buildings. It was like a 6-story building we lived in, and we were on the first floor. And we had a bedroom facing one way.
Yeah.
Pretty close to Haus der Deutschen Kunst, which was kind of neat because we could, we were on this street, and Prinz-Eugenenstrasse is a very big main street, and Haus der Deutschen Kunst is this beautiful big building that was Hitler's favorite in Munich, and he was always there. And so, I mean, he would go there a lot. And they would close off Prinz-Eugenenstrasse, and nobody could go there, when he was there. Or when the rest of them were there, whatever. But we could go to the courtyard and walk out in a building, a friend lived in one of those buildings, and just go over there and stand right there and watch them all, So we saw Hitler and Goebbels and every one of them,
So you listened
Oh, and
there?
I actually fell. I was roller skating. I was barreling down this thing. They pulled up. He got out of the car and noticed who it was. I tripped and fell, and he picked me up.
Who was that pick you up?
Hitler.
Is that right?
Yeah. And then we weren't allowed to roller skate anymore, because somebody complained,
Yeah.
But anyway, that was funny. But we could just go there, and it was because it was beautiful. Haus der Deutschen Kunst, beautiful building. And then when the Americans were there, we can go there and see everybody there, Eisenhower and everybody, and some of the big bands, and like Andre Castellanos gave a concert, and we could roller skate there. Well, we couldn't roller skate anymore. Well, the war was still going on, but after that we could. And we could just roller skate and go in the back and watch all that, without having to pay for tickets.
Isn't that something you
sat on the balcony and listened to it,
That sounds like actually a fun experience.
It was, yeah. It was. There was always stuff going on.
Did you have a lot of friends over there then?
Yeah.
A lot of kids?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of who was. Oh, there were a number of jazz players and, all these that played, that came to play there. Whoever came to Munich played there, because it was the place.
So you were actually really introduced to the finer arts as a young kid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Hilda, when did you first feel that you wanted to be an artist, or the art world was your place?
Gosh, I don't know.
As a child, or did it come later?
I know, it was probably, I was always doing something, we ended up, instead of playing outside, we had to sit there and embroider and stuff, and knit and purl and, paint.
Knit one pearl too.
Yeah. And sew and all that, we did a lot of that.
Were you a painter ever?
Yeah.
Did you paint?
Sure, yeah.
Maybe you were just a natural in that field. Some people are kind of like the prodigal child there, where you're really good at stuff and it comes naturally. And
Yeah, I don't know.
Did you go to any schools for training?
Yeah, I went to Leighton School of Art for a while in
What was the name of that?
Leighton
Okay.
School of Art.
Where was that?
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee, yeah.
Was that of value to you, or?
Yeah, yeah. And did some, took various workshops and stuff. Let's see. And we had quite a bit in school too, though. We had pretty extensive art classes. And then, you're just exposed to all these museums and everything, that you can't help but,
Rubs off on you. So how did you feel about now? You're a pretty talented young lady. You can paint and you can pot and you can sew and crochet and knit and all those things. How did you ever decide that, well, this is the business I want to be into, and then all of a sudden say, oh, by the way, now I need to charge for my products? Did you have a lot of fun with that? And
I don't get that question.
the question would be let me just go rephrase this.
Okay.
Your first store, or the first part of the business that you were in there, how did that go for you?
Gallery.
Yeah, the gallery in Milwaukee.
Yeah, well, what happened is that this space was for rent, and I did ceramics, and I had a lot, I produced a lot of pots, and sculptures, and I was renting a little out-of-the-way place, and when I saw this for rent, the guy who owned the building came and said that I should be on that street, which actually made a lot of sense. So I moved there, and it was pretty good,
What part of Milwaukee were you in?
East side.
East side.
Yeah, this was North Farwell, Prospect and Farwell, close to the lake.
Okay.
The lake. I lived in North Hackett, which wasn't that far. So I kind of just kept working and then going to these big art fairs. You had to have a lot of stuff to, show there. A lot of Chicago, mostly jewelry shows, so you had to be accepted, and then you go there. And well, Denise Payne, she and I would go to fairs together a lot of times. She'd have paintings and I would have pots.
So you moved from that little smaller place up into the east side of Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And then you had a larger building. Did you bring your kiln and all that stuff with you? Or?
No, I pretty well worked at home. That was pretty much the gallery that I, just to finish.
Well, so you didn't do any work in there at all.
No.
That was a show place.
Yeah.
Did you run the store? Well, did you do pots at home at night and then work in the store during the day, or did your husband at that time?
Yeah, we weren't there. We weren't open all the time. I don't know. I worked at home probably at night.
Yeah.
Mostly, maybe morning. But you sometimes end up with quite a bit.
Yeah.
Providing you don't sell a lot, you end up with a lot.
Yeah. That's the way it was.
Yeah.
Hilda, did you make your living completely off your art then, or did you do other jobs?
Well, I was married. My husband had a pretty good job.
Now, who was your husband?
That was Roy Reynolds.
Roy Reynolds. And where'd you meet him?
I met him in Munich.
In Munich? Uh-huh. So was he German?
No, he was American.
He was American.
Let's see. God, that's so long ago. I'm trying to remember when.
Well, you came here in 1948.
Right.
Right? So it was before then.
Yeah, and I came here, and he was here. He was, because he was in the army. He was here already, but I came over as a DP. Let's see. Well, actually, I was married. We had a double wedding with my cousin, who married a guy from New York. God, it's so long ago, I forgot about it.
Yeah.
So you were married in Munich?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then you came to America.
yeah.
And he was from Milwaukee?
No, he was from Wausau.
Oh, okay.
And we lived in Wausau. Let's see. When did we move from Wausau to Milwaukee? Sometime in the 60s.
Mm-hmm. So you spent a great deal of time in Wausau then?
Yeah.
Is that where your children were born, some of them?
Yeah, I think that Raymond and Randy were both born in Wausau.
So the two oldest boys,
Yeah.
Raymond's the oldest?
And Randy is the second.
Yeah, and then the children...
He's in Florida now. He says, what are you doing up there? It's too cold. Come on down here. He lives on Singer Island, right on the beach,
Yeah.
His deck ends up in the sand, And then it's just a great place. I said, well, I'll come down in February. He said, well, I don't know, why you don't come down in January? I said, well, I don't want to stay there 2 months,
And he had
So it was Randy, and then who's the next?
See, Raymond is the oldest,
Raymond.
Randy, Renee, and Ryan.
Mhm.
And Ryan lives in Chicago,
And where does Renee live?
in Eau Claire.
Okay.
I can never think of that town.
Yeah.
You know, it's just for some reason.
Where's my chum Ryan?
Ryan is in Chicago.
One of the fun stories, if I can just interrupt here, was
Yeah.
I can still see him as a little kid on the ferry boat
Yeah.
on the Island Queen.
Yeah.
And he's on the other side. My dad is skippering the boat. Remember that? And all of a sudden, I was working and too. I hear all of a sudden, Mr. Elson,
Yeah.
Mr. Elson, can I come tin with you? And my dad cracked up. So that was quite a while. That was in the '60s. So Ryan was the cutest kid.
He was. He's got a little. This is his little daughter. Just a cute little.
Wow.
Just a cute.
Hold that in front of you a little bit, like this. Yeah, isn't that nice?
Yeah, real cute. And then let's see. I had a bunch of them here. No, I don't know. If I don't know.
God, they're beautiful children.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, there she is again.
Is that him there?
That's his wife. Yeah.
Yeah, just twist it this way a little bit so we can see who your children are.
Okay.
Let's see. Hold it toward the camera, Hilda. I'll go in and get a shot.
I have a whole bunch of them. In
tilt
this.
Is that him there now?
Just a minute. I have to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Nice photo.
I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah. That's him there.
Can we get a photo of your mother and your dog too there
Sure.
while you're at it?
Sure.
And maybe you'll tell us who your mother was, and
I can probably get that.
maybe you can get it right here, John.
I can. Yeah.
It's pretty, you know, it's almost like a sepia, you know,
Yeah,
I don't
just
know
hold her
if it would-
steady there.
if it would photograph.
What was your mother's name?
Paulina,
Paulina. What was your father's name?
Alexander.
Alexander.
So that's your mother and the dog, and then up in the corner, is that your father? Up in the corner?
No, that's my youngest uncle. That's another picture.
Oh, that's another, yeah, all right.
Yeah,
What was the dog's name? Fritz or something like that?
Harry.
Hottie. Yeah. Great Dane.
Yeah.
Isn't that fun?
Oh, he was such a great dog. You know, we never got spankles. All we had to do is go by the dog. You know, naughty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Nice.
let's see.
Good
Which
job.
one is that? Oh, this is my favorite. This is Venice. Pavarotti stuff. Pavarotti stuff. Let's see.
You know what I'm going to do? Let's take a little break right now. Sorry, we've got to start that again. I'm going to ask that
General.
question. What boat did you come over?
George W. Gissels was the boat.
Uh-huh. And it was a huge boat.
Yeah, like a liner. Yeah.
And your status, you said, was a DP, meaning
Yeah.
what?
Displaced person.
And so you're just coming to this country basically to get away from the situation. But you married an American soldier.
This was after the war, so you know, you could basically, if you had a passport, you could go anywhere. You know, during the war you couldn't, but after the war you could.
So you had a German passport, probably.
I think so. Yeah.
And then you got on the boat. And did your husband meet you in did you come in at New York? Where did you come in?
I think we stopped at Ellis Island, but we didn't get off at Ellis Island. I don't remember if we... Yeah, New York. It would have been New York Harbor.
Seems like you would have had to go through Ellis Island through immigration.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think Ellis Island and then to some harbor where we disembarked.
And then did your husband meet you in New York, or did
Yeah.
you? Yeah. And
Oh, I see.
and then you came, the two of you then, what'd you do, get on the train?
And yeah, I went to Warsaw. He was from Warsaw.
He was from Wausau, so you end up in Wausau. I see, okay.
So he came back from Europe on a troop ship, and then you came over on your own?
Yeah, but somehow he got on the ship. I don't know if he got on the ship on the way or I don't recall.
Interesting story. And then to Wausau you go.
So now you're in your third country.
Yeah.
How was your English?
Oh, I took English all in high school.
So
you
you
had
were-
to.
Yeah, in
You know,
Germany
which
you
was
had,
kind of amazing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was, pretty King's English.
okay, and so then we first couple kids were born in Wausau, and then you moved
Yeah.
to Milwaukee. And why the move to Milwaukee?
Um,
Did your husband get a job there or something?
yeah, he got a job there.
What was he doing?
He was a architectural draftsman.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yeah, I think he got the job there and then we moved.
So you had two kids by the time you moved to Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
And then two more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you met Denise, right?
Yeah, in Milwaukee.
How did you meet Denise Koch?
Oh gosh, I don't remember how I met her. Probably at some art fair.
She was quite a fun person, wasn't
Yeah.
she? She
Yeah.
still is, actually.
I mean, we used to go, and she had this little beat up little red, you might remember that, kind of a wagon. Small
Volkswagen?
wagon, no, it
Yeah.
wasn't a Volkswagen. But a small wagon, and my pots, were pretty heavy. I mean, I had a lot of pots, plus stands. And they used to call us the farmers from Wisconsin.
Was that right?
Yeah.
And how far?
And we went to, like the Old Town Art Fair and the one at that, where they built those condos, those first big, oh gosh, what the heck was it called? It's a big complex in Chicago.
Oh,
So you-
McCormick
North
Place?
Avenue, it was Burton Place.
Was it McCormick Place? Did
No.
You ever show there?
Yeah, I think so. It must have been a Christmas show or something.
Mm-hmm.
But this was Sandberg.
Oh, okay.
Sandberg apartment buildings, a big complex. And this Burton Place was a small street that ran into it, and this guy ran a really nice fair there. And we went there every year. Always did well. And 57th Street Art Fair was the first art fair of the season, in the Midwest. That was they were mostly juried shows, and they were good shows.
When you say Jewish shows, the
Juried.
jewelry shows.
Juried.
Okay.
In other words, you couldn't just show. You had to send slides, and they would have to approve your work
Oh, I
before
see.
you could go.
So there were some prerequisites.
Yeah. Otherwise, you'd have.
Strict.
Yeah. They were excellent shows.
Did you make lots of money?
Yeah. Yeah, they were great shows.
Hmm.
Especially the first one, I mean, those people, they were just waiting for us to show up, every
Oh,
year.
really?
Yeah.
The farmers.
Well, not the farmers, no, this was in Chicago, let's see, by the university. Trying to think of the name of the street. Well, there was also McCormick Place, but this was,
On Michigan Avenue there someplace?
no, South Side.
Oh, okay.
Really nice area.
Okay. So you made quite a few bucks then, and had some
Yeah.
fun besides, and you're feeling pretty good about yourself, I bet, at that time.
Yeah, it was pretty nice.
Yeah.
Well, you hated to haul all this stuff and then have to haul it back, And that happened too here and there,
Yeah.
Well, like say if the weather, say with big storms or something, you don't want to set up because, someone.
Well, the clientele down there probably had a few more dollars
Yeah.
per person than
Yeah.
around the Bayfield area, so it must have been kind of a shocker for you Did you sell well up here too?
Okay, yeah, it was okay. It was
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, but Chicago, they don't look at the price. They just, if they want something, they just buy it. Different crowd.
Yeah, that's up here. They look at you and want to
Okay,
barter.
well, I'll take this, and this. What do I owe you?
Yeah. And they're not. That must have been fun.
Yeah, it was.
Now, where did Denise show her paintings?
Same
that
art fairs. But they had paintings in one area and then they had crafts in another.
Right. Okay, so you would go together,
Yeah.
you and Denise?
Yeah.
Did you have any other friends down there that you?
Oh yeah, a lot of them that went from Milwaukee that we knew, or that were in Chicago that we'd see, once a year. They would come to Milwaukee. They had the art center always had this good fair, and I used to always put the ads in the paper afterwards that all the prize winners were represented in my gallery prior to them winning the prizes there.
Oh.
That's probably why they gave them the prizes, because, well, in Friends of Art, it's just they don't know that much. They just kind of,
Hilda, when you came to Bayfield and you bought the I'll never get that right. The Atelier.
yeah,
Did you purchase the building? And,
yeah,
And then say this is going to be the spot, and you've been there many years, and
yeah. Let's see. Trying to think who owned that. Pre-Roast owned it.
Al?
Yeah, Al.
Who did?
Al Pre-Roast. And let's see. He had just bought it at a
Foreclosure?
sheriff's sale,
Okay.
I think he paid like $2,000 for it or something. And but see, Al was always a fair guy, I mean, Al always doubled his money. It didn't matter how much he paid. He wouldn't sell it for $12,000, but I think he sold it to me for $4,000. I'm not sure. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
And he usually didn't do much to it, He just kind of cleaned it up and that's it, I mean, he didn't stick any money into it. And there were all these rooms. I mean, they were like, God, what were there, like 8 rooms upstairs or something? And well, I guess we lived up there. And then he had that little studio building in the back, which was ideal,
Yeah.
Cement block building. I could put my kiln in there.
I remember that kiln being back
Yeah.
there. Yeah, absolutely.
And that, that worked. You didn't have to haul the stuff back and forth,
Yeah, well, what a relief that would be.
I know. And no, that was a good spot. It was hard being off the main street because people just go, they still do this. They just walk down. They don't look.
So you're there for quite a few years, and then you
Yeah.
decide to buy the Johnson building, which is the former
Yeah.
Jack Johnson and Blanche Johnson building on the corner there of Rittenhouse Avenue
Yeah.
and 2nd
I'm trying
Street.
to think, when did we buy that? I don't recall. It's a while ago. But then Chris gutted it, I mean, he just redesigned.
I was with him when we gutted that.
Oh, yeah.
I helped him out for a few.
Yeah, redesigned the whole thing, just,
Yeah.
nice layout.
I cut out all the
And put the
floorboards around
balcony
it.
in, and people would come and say, how come you're doing that? You know?
Yeah, like have to.
Why are you doing that? Oh,
Hilda, I want to back up a bit because I don't know whether or not you came here with your husband or whether that marriage was over by the time you came to Bayfield.
oh,
What happened?
gosh, let me think. No, we're still married. Yeah, I came here, that's right, yeah.
But you came here by yourself. He didn't come with you.
Well, he was working in Milwaukee.
Right, but
You
you
know,
were still married.
He would, yeah. Well, he would spend a vacation here,
You would.
He had a couple of weeks off or something, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I remember him.
Yeah, a
Coming
couple
to
of weeks. Yeah, he worked for, let's see, Black Hawk. I think it's Black Hawk.
Is he still living or?
No, he died.
He did.
Yeah.
So you got divorced at some point
Yeah.
after you had moved here,
Yeah.
right? So the distance was too much, or
Probably.
we won't.
Yeah.
You don't have to reveal all. But
Yeah.
it didn't work.
No.
Yeah. Now were the kids grown by this time?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So then you were here by yourself.
Hmm. Yeah, but I wasn't here all year. I was in Milwaukee in the winter. I was just here in the summer.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, I was just here
Okay.
in the summer.
So when did you move here full time then?
Gosh.
Remember that?
Let's see. It's a while ago. I don't even remember what year that was.
In the 1970s?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, it was before 1980, I think.
Yeah.
Because I think you started Xanadu in 82.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
Yeah, we bought the building, let's see. I'm trying to think now. Well, whenever Johnson's closed and then it went for sale.
It was right in that period in time.
Yeah.
I think it was 72 because that's when they got into the pier business, if I remember right. You know, they tore down the Johnsons tore down the A&W thing and they built the pier in 72. So they probably took the money that you paid for them
Oh,
and
yeah.
put it onto that,
Yeah.
I would guess. And that was in 72. So,
Yeah, it was before 1980, I know that.
yeah. I could be wrong, but
But it took a while because it was completely gutted, you know. Chris redesigned the whole thing.
like you say, I helped them rip out all the floors and
I
put
know,
in the first
yeah.
floor. I didn't have much to do with the upstairs, but
Yeah, there's three condos, there are two condos up there, front and back. And then there are two stores.
well, then you got into some really nice, fine clothing products. I
Yeah.
remember, all the beautiful dresses, and you used to travel to Mexico, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I did.
Buying.
Yeah, I did do that. Let's see. And I went to London to a couple of shows there. Actually, I shopped overseas mostly first to begin with.
Oh, overseas.
And yeah, like London has a big show. And went to Mexico and somewhere else. Oh, Chicago then, you know. But then I pretty well, but there are big shows here, like there's one in New York, well, actually, next week, I think. But I'm not going to New York this year, I'm gonna just go to Chicago.
Just Chicago, okay.
Yeah, because most of the people are in Chicago too, and I know pretty well, you know, who to get it. I don't have to go. It's easier if I go to Chicago. Stay with Ryan, we have a little party, you know.
Yeah.
Well, Hilda, why did you move from ceramics and more crafts and to clothing?
Gosh.
You remember what provoked that?
Well, you know, it was so much easier, you know. I mean, the ceramics, is, you know, it's a big physical work, you know. And a lot of technical stuff and dirty. And I always kind of liked clothes, you know, and I used to have art of adornment shows, you know, even when I had a gallery in Milwaukee, you know. I mean, I had a gallery there before I came up here. But
Right.
I would always have like a art of adornment show, you know, every year, a couple of them probably. And then I just kind of, I don't know, I just kind of got drawn toward the clothing because it was kind of part of my background, you know. You know, because I mean, it's not that you look at something and say, well, what do you do with it? Well, this you wear it, you know.
And that really was your philosophy, that what
Yeah.
you wear is art.
Well, yeah, you know, there is, you know, yeah, I think so. I think so.
It's not just practical. It's
Right, yeah.
If you want practical, go to Sears. If you want art,
Yeah.
buy it from me, right?
Well, let's see.
Pennies or something.
I used to run this show, Art of Adornment. That was always a good show, and a lot of artists would, you know, design stuff for that, and then I would buy, you know, certain things.
So that was like a fashion show,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And, well, I don't know, it just kind of,
Was it a good move for you?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier, you know, you don't have to haul all those heavy pots.
Just hang them up.
Well, also, you know, the firing and all that, you know, it's just a lot of dirty work, you know.
Mm-hmm. But here you had to manage more people too. Maybe you've had quite a few younger people work for you during the summertime.
Yeah,
That's not very easy either.
no,
Well, and you had 2 stores going,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
You couldn't be in 2 places at once.
right. Well, Milwaukee, I had a pretty good person there, you know, who lived very close by. He did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
But it was pretty quiet because most of those people that were my customers were in Door County, you know.
Oh.
That's where most artists from Milwaukee went to Door County. And I had a lot of friends there who had, you know, galleries and stuff there. But but Door County is on Lake Michigan. I don't like Lake Michigan, I like this lake.
Yeah.
So, well, and that building worked out so good, you know. Yeah, because I had a studio there and it worked out really good. And then the other one too.
Mm-hmm.
But Hilda, what made you think that in a little town like Bayfield, you could really have what I would call high fashion and make it work?
I don't think that you know, that it would matter where you are because, I mean, you get people from all different places here too. You know, it's not just people who live here, it's people who come through here. But we're not open that much in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
It was really a summer business.
Yeah,
A little bit of Christmas maybe.
yeah. It's too quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Because your stuff is one-of-a-kind stuff.
Well, no, it's manufactured. It's just, you know, certain
I mean,
designers.
one-of-a-kind for this area.
Well, I suppose. Yeah, it would be. Yeah,
You know, whenever my sister would visit me, she wanted to come to your store,
yeah.
see what you had.
Well, they either New York or California. They're different, you know, designed in different places. I usually, let's see, where do I find most of them? I don't know, different places, I guess. Well, there are shows, you know, like there's one in Chicago coming up. And there are 2 big ones in New York, but New York is just, I'm just too tired to go to New York right now.
You never could talk your daughter into getting into the business with you or
Yeah,
something
no,
like that?
it's
No
just
interest?
not her. Mhm.
Isn't that
No.
something?
Yeah. She's into sports a lot, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they do a lot of water ski.
Oh.
And, I mean, like big, you know, competitions.
Oh, really?
Yeah, both Kyle and Kelsey is in the Army now, but that's the oldest. But Kyle is very good.
Good athlete.
Yeah. They went to South Africa on some kind of a grant or something. Did they like a lot?
God, I miss her. I haven't seen her for quite a while.
Yeah, she doesn't come up very often.
Stinker, you gotta invite her up.
Like a couple times a year, you know. Well, the thing is, because they're there, you know, I mean, they live there in this lake, you know.
Yeah.
And, they have performances somewhere, you know. So I see her a couple times a year, that's about it.
Hilda, why do you choose the things you choose to have in your store?
Because I like them, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, because, you know, it's quite a range of taste in there.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I guess I've been exposed to a lot of, you know, I look at form and I look at color. I don't know.
Everything you buy, is it something you would wear if you, or is there things in there that you wouldn't wear?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just trying to keep it mixed up
Yeah,
a
I
little
mean-
bit. Wouldn't be
I
cotton
probably
dip.
have to be a lot smaller to wear some of them, you know. Well, I just kind of like to have a certain assortment of, you know, things that you could wear for dress up or not, you know, or that are functional. I mean, most of the things I have are old, you know. What is this? Yeah, this is a company I've been buying from for a long time. And there are some of them are knits and they, you know, they're washable. And I look at the fabrics. I think it's my background in fabric that actually is the most important.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't buy any plastic fabrics.
So you know quality.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
And you strive for quality. Interesting.
Where's that necklace you're wearing come from?
This, let me think now, who did this? I think Madeira or somewhere like that, if I recall correctly, who I bought it from.
Is that a Native American?
No,
Oh, okay.
no. I may have restrung them myself, actually, I don't know. I've had it a long time.
Seems like when we get older, we have a lot of things over a period of time, don't we?
I know. Yeah,
What do you
and
do with it all?
I know. Well, I wear most things, I don't know, you know,
Yeah.
here and there. I think, oh, I haven't worn this for a while, then I drag it out and I wear it.
Yeah. Do you ever get a little selfish down at the store there and say, I like that, I'm not going to sell that and wear it yourself? Or
Not too often.
yeah.
Not too often. The thing is, you know, I don't need anything because I got so many clothes, you know.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, I just think, well, I've got to have that, you know. If I'm going somewhere and I need something, you know.
You ever go on Lake Superior much? You like to? Do you ever get out fishing or sailing?
Not
And
much, no. No, not having. I mean, I was out just on the island a couple times last year. That's it.
Madeline. You used to take a little rides out in the islands. And
I know, yeah.
up here, you came up here to enjoy the beauty, and then you wound up working all the time.
Yeah. I know.
So Hilda, did you meet Chris here then?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was already here when you moved here?
You know, I don't know. I don't think so. Let's see, did he come? No, he was visiting here. I mean, he was, you know, sailing here.
He was in cahoots.
Minneapolis.
He was in cahoots with Holzer on the quick
On the
step. Remember
Quick
that?
Step, yeah, yeah.
And they ran aground up at Isle Rail. Do you remember that story? And they got in this argument, and they never were too friendly towards one another after that, were they?
I don't think so. I don't think so. God.
I remember that story.
Well, he used to do a lot with Holzer too, and Holzer was kind of a guy who took advantage of you, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. Chris is an architect by trade.
But he redesigned, you know, the building, and he built this place.
Mm-hmm.
So Hilda, where did you live when you first moved here then?
On 2nd Street there.
You lived upstairs from the shop?
No, an apartment is an apartment in downstairs behind
In the
the
back,
store.
behind the store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Mary has a shop there or something now. But that was, see, that's not the original building. That building burned. Like,
That's
you know,
right.
who set a fire to that. He tried 3 times.
Cross.
I mean, I was unfortunate enough to live next to a pyromaniac, you know. God. Oh. I think that this is at least the 3rd time that he started, or was it for 4th time?
Why the heck did he do that?
I don't know.
We won't mention any names,
No.
but just
Well,
you were pretty friendly with him, weren't you?
well, yeah, you know.
Closer you can get.
Oh,
When did that, I remember that fire, when did that burn?
oh God. But it was my birthday, and we actually stayed in Ashland overnight, went for dinner, and decided to stay there overnight, and came back Sunday didn't know anything about it. And Joanne's daughter, she called me and she said, "I'm so sorry, Hilda." And I said, "About what?" And we just drove to town, came home, you know.
Yeah.
Oh,
She
no.
said, "About other years." She said, I said, "Well, what about it?" She said, "Well, it burned down, you know." I said, "It did?" You know, I didn't know. God. So we drove downtown and sure enough it was gone. Jeez.
Whoa.
Yeah. But he tried that 3 different times, you know, that. Well, actually, that summer he started a fire in a tree in the back there, too. So, I mean, you know, he was determined to burn that place down because they wanted to have that empty yard.
Mm.
I actually sold them the other half of that yard because they were using it all the time anyway.
Mm.
God.
The
Yeah,
the neighbors from hell.
Well, yeah, I mean, didn't they catch him burn down the thing on the corner one time? I know. He was put away once for that.
Mm-hmm.
God. And you know, I watched him. Let's see, what was it? Somebody set the fire by that cement block building back there, and I was in the corner there, and he's standing there directing traffic. I mean, he was in his glory, you know. We just, yeah,
So, but you rebuilt,
yeah,
huh?
yeah. It was a total loss. I mean,
When the fire, when it burned down, did you still have the shop in the store then, or was it? I don't remember
I didn't
that.
have. It was off season. I'm trying to think what month it was.
Do you remember, Bob?
I think it was late fall, but I had a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah.
Stored.
Yeah. And a lot of furniture, you know. I had this beautiful gray oak bedroom set. That was just a beautiful set from the 50s.
Oh boy.
I know. You know, big
Makes you
dresser.
sick to your stomach.
I know, you know. All that went.
Hmm.
Um,
Did you have insurance to cover it then, or did you have to dig into
Not
the wallet?
much, we didn't, you know. We didn't have that much insurance.
So you were basically starting over on that
Yeah.
corner. That would be a bummer.
I know,
Thought you came out of it okay, didn't you?
yeah. But, you know, it's just,
What kind of advice would you give to a young person starting off in Bayfield now that, you know, in the type of work you're in?
oh, gosh. Well, you have to really like what you're doing, you know, and you can't do what everybody else is doing because, you know, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
too much of the same thing. And you can't, you know, you don't know what to expect. I mean, you know.
Give her 100%, I guess.
Yeah.
Have you had any offers to buy out the businesses ever and stuff like that, or have you kind of reluctantly hanging on and because you enjoy your work so much, or?
Let's see. No, I haven't had any offers for anything, no. Oh, I know I have somebody who wants to rent the space, you know. But I wouldn't want to be renting the space and, you know, and closing the business. I mean, if anything, I might sell the business, you
Yeah.
know. It's possible, I don't know.
You know, be 100 years old working down.
No, it'll happen pretty soon.
Yeah. You're looking around the corner a little bit now.
Yeah.
Well, you've become an institution here, Hilda. It's,
I
it's
know,
hard
it's
to
just-
imagine Main Street
yeah.
without Xanadu,
Yeah.
I know.
huh?
And I mean, I don't think anybody will buy it because, you know, they don't put any value into it, you know. I mean, you do have a lot of, you know, because they can't use the name. I mean, I suppose I have to incorporate it or something because I'm not going to let them use the name if they're not going to buy it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you name it Xanadu?
Let's see. God, there was a reason for that. Well, we went to Mexico, and there's Xanadu. I'm trying to think, what was it? I think it was a big resort that was called Xanadu, and I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And something else about Xanadu I see now. I always liked the name.
Had a little snap to it, and
Yeah, it's just,
it sounds like a business name or a clothing business name.
yeah, it seems to, you know,
Like Saks, or, Saks Fifth Avenue, Xanadu First Avenue there.
Yeah. Yeah, there was another. I just can't think of what that was.
Well, what does Xanadu mean?
Well, Xanadu, okay. Xanadu was Kublai Khan's summer palace in Tibet. And the interesting thing is, that's why I named it that. Okay, I like, Venice is my favorite city. So whenever I'm in Venice, I invariably end up at this kind of rounded corner where there's a shingle on it that Marco Polo was born there, and he was born on my birthday, April 25th. And see, Xanadu is his favorite place.
Oh.
He actually discovered, he's the one who started writing about it. So, and 3 different times, and because I couldn't go, I couldn't tell you it's here, there. I just happened to think, oh my God, there it is, there's a shingle.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I named it Xanadu, because I liked it. I liked it, I liked the sound of it. And Marco Polo was, it's a great.
Because like Marco Polo was your Babe Ruth or something like that, your hero?
Something like that, yeah. Well, going to those areas when he did, was pretty gutsy.
Who were Hilda, who do you think was your role model as when you were a young person? Is there anybody you really looked up to? And
Gee. Well, my dad, for one.
Mm-hmm.
But, I was only 14 when he died.
Mm-hmm. You missed him a lot. Was it a tough period in your life there?
Yeah.
Pretty young girl to go through that.
Yeah.
Did you want to be like Kaiser Wilhelm's wife or something like that?
No.
Or Wilhelm II or something?
No.
No aspirations to be like that?
No. No royalty.
Yeah, no royalty.
Oh.
The old Yugoslavian people, Southern Slav, I believe, right?
Yeah.
You know a lot about your heritage prior to that? They go back to the year 1, those tribes in those days. Did you study much about your people, or?
Yeah, quite a bit. Well, and that whole war thing was just such a big farce, why the United States backed, that whole Bosnian thing was just a big disaster.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kosovo, forget about that. Albanians, Albania is like Afghanistan, same, ignorance,
Mentality?
Oh, yeah.
Well, who were the elite in the Yugoslav area there? Was it the...
Well, they had a king, they had a kingdom.
Was it a class system over there when you were a kid, or?
Well, probably, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There was the elites, there was the educated, there was the poor, there were the servants, there were the, I don't know if there were slaves over there or not, but.
Yeah, not slaves, but servants.
But there was a real class system.
Yeah.
The merchants were in a kind of a class of their own.
Yeah, I think you have that all over now.
Mm-hmm. Were you? What was the name of the dictator that was there?
Well,
Ceausescu?
Oh, Tito?
Tito, Marshal Tito, yeah. Do you have any recollections of that at all, or life living under his regime?
Well, I wasn't living there, but being that he was a Croat, he was okay. He kept the country together.
Mm-hmm.
But it's they just mainly based on religion. The Serbs are Orthodox, the Croats are Catholic, and then the Muslims are Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll never agree on anything. Together.
Were you guys Catholic then?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Some of the most beautiful churches in the world are over in that area. Unbelievable.
Beautiful. Yeah, like St. Mark's. I got this beautiful poster in the hall there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so gorgeous. St. Mark's, and they're all over.
Could you buy any land over there now if you wanted, or you ever think about buying some property over there or anything?
No. No, because you can rent and go to other places or go to the same place. Over there, I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to stay there a real long stretch of time.
What's it like year round over there in Zimmern? Like winter,
Oh,
summer, spring? Do they have different seasons? And
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, it's kind of in the southern part, it's just outside of Belgrade. Um, so they have spring, summer, fall, and winter. It doesn't get that cold. Beautiful summers, and it's hot. I mean, I prefer the coast. I prefer the water. The Adriatic is beautiful.
good shopping malls and
No.
good food and.
Yeah, good food. Yeah, good food.
Well, it must be strange, Hilda, to have a country that you grew up in. Yugoslavia
Yeah.
was a country, a united country, even though it was made up of a variety of elements. No longer exists.
Right, yeah.
There you are.
I know.
You say, where's
Yeah.
your homeland?
Yeah.
It's gone.
I know, yeah, I
Isn't
know.
that odd?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
So what do you consider yourself now you've been,
Well, I was born there. Well, I'm a U.S. citizen now, so.
yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, what's being an American? It's so mixed. So I don't know. I still consider myself a Yugoslav, I guess. Yeah, that.
That's your nationality, would
Yeah.
be Yugoslav.
Yeah.
Religion, Catholic.
Yeah, but it's mixed. Yugoslav, it's Catholic, Orthodox, and not much Lutheran or Presbyterian or anything like that. Pretty much those two.
Hilda, I want to bring it back to Bayfield now. When you started the shops and Xanadu, let's say in the 80s, you and Denise had some escapades, I'm sure, together. But who were your friends your close friends in that period?
Well, pretty much Denise and let's see. Locally, you mean?
Yeah.
Gosh, well, Marie was a good friend. I have a friend, Beverly Onich in Ashland. Laurel Sedgwick. I'm not sure. I think they were here then. That's about it. Because you're kind of busy. You just kind of see them after work or. On the island, I had a couple of friends on the island that are not there anymore.
But what would you do on a Saturday night, for example, or a weekend in the summer,
Probably go swimming and maybe go out to dinner.
I saw you a couple of times down in Morty's too.
Yeah, go to Morty's, right?
Yeah, have a.
Not go to the inn.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Let's see. That's about it. There's never that much going on, I don't think I missed too much. But if there was something going on, I would go.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you were a good member of the community here.
Yeah.
Huh?
Do you belong to the chamber and stuff?
I don't really do nothing there. I don't know.
What about church? Are you a churchgoer? No.
You were as a kid though, I'll bet. Were your parents pretty religious, or
No.
they didn't push the issue, I suppose. Did you smoke cigarettes when you were a kid?
Not when I was a kid.
Gotta have a little fun with this conversation.
Well, I don't know. Maybe when I was 18 or something.
Yeah.
They're pretty hard to get.
Yeah.
You had to go to black market to get them.
Is that right?
Why, yeah, you couldn't buy nothing on them except in the black market, Jeez.
What do you think of the you've been here quite a few years now. How do you think the city of Bayfield has been governed over all that period in time from when my dad was mayor and on
Well,
forth?
you know, I think pretty well, you know, and I mean, actually, I think that Gaylord Nelson did the most for the community, you know, when he did it, you know, because remember they had those films that they showed, Project for Bayfield,
Yeah, the blueprint or something.
Blueprint for Bayfield, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he got the grant for that, and he actually offered me the use of Michigan Island
Yeah.
for like an art colony,
Yeah.
but I just couldn't, you know, I just couldn't.
That was before the park was here then.
Yeah, that's before the park was there. I just couldn't, didn't have enough, you know.
Bill
help and
Tischler.
stuff.
Bill Tischler was part
Yeah,
of that.
yeah.
That whole thing. Do you remember him? And
Yeah.
he brought up those university kids,
Right.
grad
yeah.
students. And
Yeah, they
kinda,
stayed in the building there upstairs, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then, you know, and when the photographer was from Germany, and a lot of the stores wouldn't let him change his film in there. So he always used my place to change his film, you know. This back little bathroom that they had just a little tiny window because he needed a dark room, you know.
Oh yeah.
And so he took pictures all over the place. And then when they showed the film, everybody was there. I mean, because they all knew that they were in the film, so they had to go to see the film so they could see themselves in it, you know.
Oh.
I got a kick out of that.
Well, what was the blueprint for Bayfield?
It was not to have it be the same trashy every town USA looking like every other town USA, you know? And Brab is the one who did the most damage, you know. Brab Locksmith was horrible. You know, he covered all the bricks up there and, you know, did all kinds of crappy stuff. It's just to kind of have it retain its character, you know. And I mean, we would have all brick streets if it wouldn't have been for Brab Locksmith, you know. Okay, and then Senator Nelson, well, on the islands too, they didn't want to have any commercial developments there, and he was very instrumental in that. And that Project for Bayfield, when they finally showed the film, I mean, the theater was full. They couldn't get everybody in there.
Yeah,
they were showing it practically around the clock because everybody wanted to see themselves on film. You
I
know?
wonder if any of those reels are still around any place.
I wonder. I bet they are. I think the library's got to have them.
Maybe so. I don't know.
Somebody was saying that they were showing that someplace. You know, but a good example is, okay, all the streets were brick, and then a Brab would, you know, do half a block here, half a block there. And I happened to be up this one winter, and my street was still brick. And they were talking about covering that. I said, no, why you want to cover that? I said, you're spending all kinds of money, you know, tearing those bricks up and putting concrete in when these have been here forever and it's perfectly fine.
They've been here 100 years?
And yeah, and they were still working on it. And the next meeting, I went there and they were still talking about it. And Duluth just appropriated all this money to put the bricks in. I said, well, it would be pretty stupid for you to dig up the bricks and put concrete here when they're spending that kind of money, you know, buying bricks.
Yeah.
So they didn't dig up the last part of it there. But then I don't know how long but that was a few years ago. You know, so that's the only, there's still a brick street.
Yeah.
But, you know, they don't do the work that they have to dig them up and do the surface with sand. They haven't done that, so it's like this, and people complain, you know. They should keep it up.
It should need some maintenance.
Yeah, in fact, you could mention something to the mayor, that they should get the crew out there. The crew doesn't do anything but drive their trucks. They have these new trucks that they drive around and look around. You know, they don't do anything. God!
Maybe you should run for mayor.
No!
Yeah, that'd be your last gig would be the,
Not me, no.
you could throw down
Think
the,
of anything worse.
you'd be a good mayor.
Yeah, right, no.
Strict,
I don't think
disciplined,
so.
genie
No,
on
I'm
the
too
spot.
stubborn.
Yeah.
Well, you tell it like it is, Hilda.
Well, I know, but they don't like to hear that.
No.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Well, that whole Bill Tischler plan, that blueprint for
Right.
Bayfield,
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a plan that this community kind of engaged into.
right.
Make sure that the buildings held their integrity and there weren't a mishmatch of 50 different colors of
Yeah.
houses. In that period of time, people were painting their houses purple and pink and
Yeah.
everything else. And this kind of suggested that uniformity and, the old Bayfield look, which basically evolved into the Bayfield Historical District.
Yeah.
Because of that, I mean,
Yeah,
and that's a National Historic District now. So
Oh, yeah.
that set the precedent for retaining the integrity of the old community in
Yeah.
a certain amount of blocks anyway.
yeah. No, it's true, because I mean, if they want to have a new prefab, go out in the country somewhere and build it in the tree, something, whatever. Yeah, because that nice building, well, you're building there, and my building on the corner, and the one across the street, they look nice.
Yeah, they're beautiful old.
And then, he rebuilt Latelier like it was, pretty much. I mean, except it's not ramshackle like it was. But it's easy to just do this, ugly stuff. That's why I don't really like to travel in this country, because it's like every town USA looks like every other town USA. They all have the same stupid, dumb, ugly signs, And they just take care of things in Europe so much better.
Oh,
It's like they don't allow stuff like that, and rightfully so.
like my dad was telling me, when you go to Norway,
Yeah,
my grandmother's church is, I think it was something like 800 years old or something. And it's like new.
yeah.
I mean, but beautiful, pristine, with similar to what you got in here, type of stuff.
Yeah.
And they take care of it. Over here,
I know.
knock it down, throw it
I
away.
know. I mean, there are like 40 big billboards coming into, what's the town just south of here?
Washburn or
No, further south.
Ashland?
No,
Further
on the
south.
Hayward.
Hayward. Is it Hayward? Yeah, I guess it is Hayward. Coming into Hayward, there are 40 billboards advertising places that aren't even where these stupid billboards are. Big. Well, you know how big they are.
Yeah, ugly.
I mean, they are, and they're literally hiding trees with these stupid billboards. Advertising this and that. I mean, who's going to look at this billboard and try to find, when they drive? I mean,
It's like you're going to Wally World.
oh, I know, and we don't have that.
Yeah. Thank
And
you.
we probably, if not enough would have been done early enough, we'd probably have it. Or like that coffee guy wanted to have these little signs. This is down the street and that's down the street. Well, you could have signs all over the place. People don't read signs anyway.
Yeah,
They really don't.
yeah.
If they're looking for something, they can ask or they can see it. I mean, there are enough signs around.
Yeah, it isn't like you're
Yeah,
in
it's just,
downtown New York City here. This is only
yeah, you just stack
10,
the place
15
up,
blocks.
right? And it's just kind of nice to see the trees and the flowers and stuff instead of signs.
It's almost got a little bit of the community has gone a little different route, but it's got a little bit of Norway in it yet. That's one of the reasons my grandparents were here.
Yeah, right.
Is
yeah.
because of it kind of reminded them of home.
Yeah, yeah,
Eggerson and Bergen,
yeah,
and they thought this is the place, and it has beautiful lake,
yeah.
those type of things, and
I
they
know.
wanted to keep the integrity of it up.
I know.
Well, it struck you when you first came here,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. The lake, and the old buildings. They were nice. There's nice big buildings like your building on the corner there. Yeah,
The old Bell building,
definitely. Yeah.
Curry Bell built that in 1895.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's why I liked it.
That was a wood building there before then. Did you know that?
No.
I got a picture of it when it was a big wood building, and that's where they had the first schools in Bayfield.
Wow.
Was in the one that Curry Bell
Oh.
was in. He bought that in 1882
Wow.
from the Bayfields, and then they had a wood building that burned down.
Huh.
And
Well, yeah.
then he built the brick building there. But it had another section on it too. Did you know that?
No.
That's where the show house is. It had one more.
Oh
section.
yes, I did know that. Yeah, your mom talked about that.
Yeah, so-
Yeah.
And that's where the press was in the back.
Yeah.
And the front of it was People's Grocery Store.
Oh. I think it was a theater when I came.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. Harbor Theater.
Yeah, yeah.
And your building was Lodell's grocery store years ago.
Oh,
And then Johnson's, they're a part of that Lodell family.
huh.
And then you guys picked that building up.
Well, then there was a dry cleaners.
Yeah.
I mean, I got it from
Gundry. Was it Jim Gundry, the dry cleaner?
You know, I don't know. It was a cleaning though, because they had these things that you bumped up and to
Press.
yeah, something like that.
Where was the dry cleaners?
Well, in the cement block building in back,
Oh,
they did the cleaning, and then they had did the steaming and stuff, in the front.
I think that was Jim Gundry.
Doesn't sound familiar, but it could be.
Yeah.
But I might not, just remember who that. I didn't meet them or anything. They were closed.
Yeah.
It was Jack Lee who had the outfitters who stored stuff in there when I got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I know where
Did you ever go in his old store by the bank there?
Yeah.
I can still smell that building.
Oh, I know. Well, he was never there. He had these signs, gone fishing, done there, whatever.
Remember he had the rabbits in the front window there at Easter time all the time?
Right. Yeah.
You walk by, every kid in America wanted to have a rabbit and full of rabbit
He
poo-poo
was
there.
funny. Well, I know when he had that sale, he finally had a sale at his place after he came and got all his stuff out of my building by that time.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had a sale. I think he was pretty sick at that time already.
Yeah, could have been.
He died not too long after that, where he was. And he had the sale there. And Denise and I had put something on, like these big jeans or something, and walking down the street, and we were laughing so hard, we were carrying this bag. People kept saying, "Where's the party?" Sitting down there.
Jack Lee was a fun guy.
He was. Well, he was never there. People would say, "When is he open?" Well, I don't know. I mean, they'd be there 2-3 times. He's never there, Oh, yeah, he had, was it this chair? Or did that go in the fire? I think the chair that I wanted to buy from him. I wanted to buy the chair, and he said, no, I'm going to retire in that chair. He didn't want to sell it. But he didn't pick it up for years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he finally picked it up.
Hmm.
Or I bought it from him. I don't know. I don't think it's this one. It was kind of on this order.
Yeah.
But I don't see another one here. So
He had the best, the only place you could buy those good Malone wool pants though.
Oh, yeah. He
Remember
had nice,
that?
Yeah, nice, functional clothing.
Yeah, that was good. I
Yeah.
mean, for the guys that were in Bayfield,
Well,
ice
yeah.
fishermen and lumberjacks,
Right.
that's what he kind of catered to when he was
I
open.
know. I know. Oh, he was so funny. I mean, he would come in, and I mean, he has this whole corner thing, it was all boarded up with the thing inside all filled,
Yeah. And
I
then he pestered you.
I'll put it back together. I said, "No, Jack, I'm sorry, you can't take it apart because I had all kinds of paintings hanging on there,
Mm-hmm.
I said, "I'm sorry, you can't. I told you." Well, I need this and I need that. Probably a pair of shoes or whatever it was, So
You didn't-
finally,
You didn't fall to
no, I mean, it would have been
chaos.
tearing the whole store apart, It was usually like Saturday morning, just before the weekend, and he'd pop in because he needed something,
Yeah, going fishing.
Yeah. And he'd probably take it down and it wouldn't be there anyway.
Yeah. Remember his wife,
Oh,
Agnes?
I asked you guys if you wanted, I got some coffee. Would you
Let's
like
take
a
a
glass
little
of
break.
wine?
now.
we'll take a break, okay.
Yeah.
Glass of wine?
The fashion show that was recently at Stage North. Talk about what that was like for you. Must have been quite a night for you.
Well, it was just so incredible, because I really didn't do anything. I mean, I was gone. I just, we had the girls coming to try on the clothes, what they were going to be wearing. And then Bob pretty well did everything, Bob Adams. And, they tried the stuff on, and so, it was like I hadn't seen it before. So it was really neat. Otherwise, I'm, behind the scenes, so I'd say that the first time that I saw it in the audience, it was great. It really was. Great spot for it.
And you had how many dresses and how many different?
110, I think.
110.
I think we had 110 outfits.
And all the outfits came from, pretty much from your store then? From Xanadu?
Right. Yeah, and it was very nice. They did a great job.
Who was the choreographer?
Sally Kessler.
So she's the one that put that together?
Yeah.
And who's the person that said, you need to have this top with that?
Well, I put together what they were wearing, before I went,
Okay.
pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And, because then I was gone,
Mm-hmm.
just before.
So you had everything all laid out when
Yeah,
you got there? and-
Yeah. Make sure that it would work and fit them, Because sizes are always tricky.
And what do you remember as being some of the models there?
Well, Polka, Adams,
Polka Adams.
Sally Kessler, Marge Erickson,
Mm-hmm.
Aliyah. I'm not sure if she's under her married name or not. Cookie's daughter, from Washington.
Okay.
Let's see who else was modeling.
Andy.
Andy Brown.
Andy Brown.
Mm-hmm. And Liz.
Pardon?
Liz.
Yeah.
Woodworth.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Liz Woodward.
Oh, the Potter out at.
Eccles. Did you
Dee Eccles?
Uh-huh.
Hilda, did you ever sell any men's clothes in there? I noticed you've got a bias towards all women's clothes. Did you ever sell men's apparel in there over the years?
Well, here and there we had shirts.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Hats.
Hats, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're pretty pleased with the outcome of the fashion show then. What date was that held, John?
Well, it was in December. remember
First
the-
part.
First part of December.
Of 2009 here, okay.
Yeah, that was a big night. It was standing room only.
Yeah, they were completely sold out.
Champagne.
I think I drank 12 glasses, and how I walked out of there, I didn't feel a thing. Carl, the other day I had 2 glasses of wine, and I thought I couldn't be, I didn't know if I was going to be able to stand up.
And you came by limousine, right?
Yeah,
That would have been fun.
picked us up and, dropped us down. I was beautiful.
Whose limousine did you come in?
Reiner.
Reiner, yeah.
I think he's the only one who's got one, isn't he? Yeah, I think so.
I think there's one in Ashland.
Oh.
There used to be.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know if there is anymore.
Right,
but-
right.
So you were really the star of the night.
I
Hilda.
guess so. Gosh.
How did you handle that instant stardom?
I don't know, I just,
Fit an
I
hour,
just
2 hours
went along with it, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't, I mean, it was really impressive. It was beautiful. I mean, just the way they put it together and everything. Because we used to always have it in the back area, the other store.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, then I did everything, And now, I mean, all of a sudden everything is just, I just sat there and watched it.
Yeah,
It was great.
yeah.
Yeah.
The pressure was off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and at the end of the night, Bob and you came up on stage. That was nice. Got your bouquet of flowers.
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. That was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was a real tribute
Oh, it was just wonderful.
for you.
It really was
Huh?
wonderful.
Well, you've been one of the outstanding citizens in the community
Oh,
for
thank you.
about 200 years now.
Oh my God. my
and
God.
your contributions to the city have been a lot over the past.
Wow.
So it's nice that people recognize that in one fashion.
It
or
was
another.
just wonderful, really. You should see this. Get up and just to see this, the reflection of that little vase here in the table. You got to get up here.
Well, yes, I'll get there in a second. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Pretty
when you do.
interesting. Yeah, I can see kind of.
It's just kind of, I kept thinking, what piece is that? I was looking at a double piece. It's the same one. Reflection.
Well, John, I think I'm gonna probably have to put a little wrap on it. There's
Okay. Well, one thing I'd like to do is I want to just go around and shoot some of the stuff and have you tell me about
Sure.
Would you get a picture of Hilda and I together too? We've been friends for years. Would you do that?
Yeah.
You want to move your chair
Get
over,
right in there.
Bob?
Well,
Get
maybe
right in
we'll
there.
just stand or something.
All right.
Get up. Does that make
Yeah,
sense,
yeah,
John?
yeah, go ahead.
Or turn this chair around.
I just, go over and
Turn
stand
that
with
chair
it.
around. Or bring that one over, whatever.
I'll just spend 2
Yeah.
seconds with you,
All right.
and I'll just
Okay.
say, this is.
Okay.
I am now with my
You're an
dear
old
friend
buddy.
Hilda. Yeah, my old buddy from the '60s.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
we're
You were just a little kid.
I was just a little kid when she met me the first time.
Yeah.
So here we are in 2009 here
No,
discussing
2010.
2010. I take
Yes.
that back.
Yeah, January 6th, 2010.
Yeah. So
It is the 6th already. Wow.
Yeah.
so it's been an honor and a real privilege to know you all these years
It
there,
sure
dear.
has
So
been.
I'm gonna give you a little smoochie. Thank you for that opportunity.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, God, it's a long time, I don't think that I've been because we traveled so much that I really never lived in one place that long,
Yeah.
I mean, we were in Munich during the war, but that's about it. And then we were in Zagreb before that, and in Zemun before that, and,
Well, you've had a lot of experiences in
different
life.
places.
A
Yeah,
lot of things that you've gone through.
yeah.
Well, you must have been born right around 1930 then, I take
Yeah.
it?
So, yeah, a lot.
It's interesting period in time, and you saw a lot of mayhem, you saw a lot
Yeah.
of good. You had a chance to see Hitler.
Yeah,
Unbelievable. That's something that
I know.
some people will never, ever know.
I was just completely shocked when I saw that that I fell right in front of him, Oh,
What a life.
that was funny.
Those were the days.
And you could always tell because those Mercedes Benzes would pull up, And whenever they were there, you're not supposed to be anywhere around there. But we were just barreling down this beautiful, not concrete, tiled
Yeah.
walk, going about 50 miles an hour.
Yeah. Oh, you had a little sense of humor
I
when
thought,
you
my
saw you.
God, this is Hitler. There,
You were roller skating or something? What was
Yeah. Okay, the Haus der Deutschen Kunst is this huge, building. And he would come there once or twice a week. So we saw him off and on, but usually they block it off. You can't be right there.
Mm-hmm.
And we would always roller skate because they had like these big steps and then this incline coming down. You could drive up from the back, big building. And we would slide down and then go down by the front and then go around the back, just go roller skating. It was beautiful concrete and marble. And I'm barreling down this thing and they pull up with the cars, and he gets out, and when I noticed who it was, I tripped and I fell right in front of him. So he picked me up, and then I got bawled out by the people there that we weren't supposed to roller skate there anymore, but we did anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did he say anything to you?
Yeah, he probably asked me if I was hurt or, yeah.
Do you remember the mustache on him and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't miss,
Yeah. You knew who it was.
Yeah,
Were you afraid?
no. I would have been afraid of Himmler, I think.
Do you remember Himmler when he was there and
Yeah.
they all hung together?
Oh, we used to see all of them, we used
Goebbels
to-
and
Yeah. Oh, Goebbels is a little guy, is a little.
do you remember him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were like half a block from the action. After that, it was Eisenhower and all the other, big wigs were visiting there.
Do you see was Roosevelt ever over
Yeah.
there?
Yeah. They were all there,
Yeah, Eisenhower. That was his command was Europe.
Yeah. And see, we had like these side, like, what do you call those? Bay, coming out and looking out. We had the only bay window going right into the Haus der Kunst, like, from our side street. So we knew who was there, Or they had the whole Andre Castellanos orchestra. We could go and sit there, So that was nice. That was after the war. When the powers changed.
Well, you were there at a real moment of history.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your take on Hitler at this point in life? You saw the one nice side to him there.
Yeah, I don't know, I don't think he was as bad as he's made out to be, I mean, there are a lot reverse dictators than he was, I don't know. I really haven't paid that much attention lately, too much,
Yeah. Well,
I guess he was good for Germany,
Well, fortunately, you weren't a victim.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
If you'd do you have any Jewish blood in you?
No, probably a little bit, yeah. I don't
Somewhere
know,
along the
some
line.
there, yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
John, I really gotta go. Son.
They just
Okay.
had,
People comes. See you guys later. Okay.
wars. Okay, good to see you,
Okay.
Bob.
Yeah. Thanks. We're all set for next Saturday then.
This is salt glaze and that's raku.
Now, is this your stuff here?
No.
This is-
There's some of mine here and there.
Point it out once in a while when you see something of yours.
This is one of mine. This is porcelain.
That's one of yours?
Yeah.
Porcelain?
Yeah. And here and there. Now this one, I had one to it. Most of them are in the cover, I think. Oh, this is John Murphy. Most of them are not mine,
This is John Murphy here, this one?
Yeah, this one.
Yeah. And what about on the wall here?
That one is Kent Dennis Flynn.
What this beautiful bowl here now?
The glass,
Yeah.
Kent Ibsen.
Who?
Kent Ibsen.
Kent
Gibson. Ibsen, I-P-S-E-N.
Ibsen. That's a beauty.
Oh, it is. Hand blown, And this is John Schmelzer. He did some great images of, very Victorian looking, some of the men.
Who is this?
John Schmelzer.
Uh-huh.
Great, figurative paintings. And that's Kaplinski. He did great watercolors. He's out west. I had a lot of these people in shows.
You had a lot of these people in shows?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's Dennis Flynn.
I like the way you've hung them all together.
Yeah, but
That's an art, too.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
Isn't
you
it?
have to kind of line up something.
Yeah.
Sometimes I usually don't ever change anything. I just look at it and I think, well, like this one could be a little lower, but it was hitting the pillows. That's Charlie Lyons. A lot of these people are dead. I just found out the other day that so many of them died. That's George Meltzer. That was the art editor who had in Milwaukee, Donald Key, and he used to always do spoofs on Donald Key, and he. This is a great collage.
Yeah, who did this? That's really
Is that John Asquith?
an interesting...
Oh God, I think that's John Asquith, but I'm not positive.
Says black hoax.
Black box, black judges, and disciples with alternative justice symbols of flags and crosses. Oh God, I think that's John Asquith. I gotta look at it. I just don't recall. It's heavy. I hope it's got a tag on the back. It doesn't. Oh shoot.
You don't remember who that was?
I'm pretty sure it's John Asquith.
Who?
John Asquith.
Uh-huh.
He was an Indiana artist. That's Raku.
Let me get a closer angle on this.
Oh.
This is Raku up
Yeah.
here? And who did that? Do you know? You've had that a while.
Schaubel is his name.
A lot of this you've had for quite some time.
Oh, I have, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
some of them go back to the 60s,
Yeah.
Like these are Wright spots. Well, Wright did such fantastic pictures. If you take the second one, you can actually lift it, It's just salt glazed.
Those are beautiful.
Yeah.
That's quite a quartet of
Yeah.
pots.
Well, there are two pictures in those two other pieces. That one is not right, so I'm trying to think who that is.
Now, what about this green pot
The
here?
green, this is glass, and this is from Munich. I know I have had this. I know somebody knocked this over.
That's from Munich?
Yeah. It's a blown piece, you know, with a
Yeah.
overlay. This is my granddaughter. Let's see.
Whose child is that?
Ryan's. That's the
Ryan's?
same girl right there.
What's her name?
Frida.
Frida? And this is her over here too?
Yeah. Yeah, this is raccoon too. Pellet mirror. Oh, what a beautiful day. I just can't get over that. Oh, this is like, for instance, well, I wasn't gonna lift it out of there, but these pictures are just great. Right pictures. I will take that out though, because it doesn't. Couldn't get a hold of it. Look at,
Oh boy,
look at this. Isn't that beautiful?
it is. Now who did that?
Don Reitz.
Huh?
Don Reitz.
Yeah.
Reitz. He's like the king of salt. You know, he taught in medicine.
Uh-huh.
He might still be teaching off and on. But just a great, a lot of potters worked with him. On my table here, somebody walked into it and had glass, and I'm having another piece of glass polished.
Oh,
but it
broke the glass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see.
See, that's right too. It's a small plate.
What about on this wall over here?
But that's interesting. See, I did this. This is really interesting. I did this. I used to go out and collect, like, if you see different pieces of paper and stuff, you know, with images and stuff on it, that just had like some kind of a print. And I did this, and I went back home from here. This was in the winter or spring, and I don't know if did a painting that is so similar to that, using like cardboard, you know.
Yeah.
That's what's on here too. It was just so weird, you know.
What about that painting up there?
That's Val Sealing. It's a watercolor. And he did it as a demonstration in the Racine Art Fair. They
This
used
whole room is full of art.
to- and Johnson, yeah. And the one up there, now let's see which one is that. I can't even tell what that is. I don't know what that is. I mean, I don't know who that is. I'd have to look at the back. I don't remember. This is Charles Dix, this one, this oil. And I got this somewhere in the Bahamas or in Mallorca. I got it someplace, you know, traveling the stray. And this is John Schmelzer. He did beautiful figurative drawings. And this is Kaplinsky, both of these. And he did, you know, he was the watercolorist of the rest, he was called, because he did, see that? Just beautiful. I have some down, you know, in the store too upstairs. I have a bunch of them. These paintings mostly in those color ranges, and that's all Charles Dix.
What about that big painting up there? And
That one is Vlado Sunaric, who was a Serbian artist. It's a
a little hard for me to get it because of the light.
Oh, should I close it? I can close this curtain. Would that help?
No, because there's a window there then.
Oh, but no, the window here.
Here, I can get it.
I can get the light out. Oh, maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe if I close this one too,
No, that's okay, Hilda.
because I could.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, it's a little better.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a nice porcelain plate that's, I can't think of the name. It's glass actually, it's not porcelain. And that is, oh God, I don't know, who is that? It's been up there for so long, I forgot who did that. But she did, you know, these real stark people.
Yeah.
And it's all John Schmulz oil.
Every nook and cranny is full of stuff here.
I know, I got, still have stuff in boxes I have to do. I mean, I just collected for years. What's this one? You can't see. This is very nice. This is Idaho's
Which one?
This one. I picked that up. Oh, this is Malta. That's Raku that played. That's Susan Kemenifi.
And also this light over the
Yeah.
table is something else.
It's very heavy. I mean, a lot, some of these pieces are knocked out. That means that somebody got hit in the head with them. I think I walked into this a couple times. It's very heavy, actually. And I don't remember who did that either. Oh, Duchenko. Have a mint. Yeah, I know, I've just been collecting things for so long. This is a beautiful piece of glass. I have a piece up there somewhere. Have you opened? No, it's opaque. Yeah, big piece to blow, There's one up, I think, on the balcony in a different colors.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Oops. They're pretty tough. That's one thing you can say about them. Yeah, right there. Above that the cell. This is a Frank Lloyd Wright lamp that I bought here. I bought it at the courthouse. No, where the Park Service now is. Where it was the old courthouse. And somebody had stored it. And the guy said to me when I was there, like say I was there at Christmas time, he said, well, if it's still next summer, he said, I'll find out about it and I'll be able to sell, you'll be able to buy it.
Frank Lloyd Wright designed this?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a typical,
Yeah. Well, beautiful stuff, Hilda.
These are molas, they're South American. Otherwise, that plate there is very nice too. That Susan Kemenifi up there. See it up there? Same one that did. Let's see, what is her other one?
These are a lot of these things you collected in your travels.
Oh, pretty much from the gallery.
Yeah.
I had them in shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, and travels both.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, this Toshi is a very good friend. He was Yugoslav. Oh, and that's Bill Viggy. And Bill Viggy did a lot of...
The middle one?
that one, yeah. Well, a lot of political stuff. He did the poster Law and Order and Hang the Problems for one. I don't think I have one hanging. I have a bunch of his stuff, but I don't have any hanging.
Okay. Well, I think that covers it. Thank you, Hilda.
Now, what are you going to do with this?
Huh?
What are you going to do with this?
Well, these go into the archives.
Oh, I see.